Hello, friends. I'm Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness. And for tonight's Stability Meets Mobility class, we're going to focus on ball and socket joints. So it'll be a well balanced, holistic practice, but there'll be a very clear anatomical focus on the shoulders and the hips. Now, to supplement your practice and to make sure that you're safe and comfortable, I recommend a yoga mat. You can see mine back behind me here, two yoga blocks, and a strap. I don't have a specific application for a strap that you necessarily would need one for, but I think it's a good practice to have one when you come to a Stability Meets Mobility class. And we'll get started with Stability Meets Mobility in just a moment. All right, friends, we're going to get started in our Stability Meets Mobility ball and socket joint class. Let me have you get started in child's pose. So come down onto your mat with your knees out nice and wide, maybe even full mat width apart. Press the shoelace parts of your feet down into the earth. Bring your big toes together to touch. And then start lowering your seat down towards your heels. And if it's comfortable for your shoulders, reach your arms up over your head. Now, I would like your forehead or your chest resting on something. If they don't come all the way down to the mat, that's fine. But place a block under your chest or your forehead. And we're going to open up with a reading today from chapter 7 of the Bhagavad Gita, and this is the latter half of chapter 7. This is Krishna speaking to Arjuna. There are 4 kinds of virtuous men who worship me, Arjuna. The man in distress, the man who seeks power, the man who seeks wisdom, and the sage. Of these 4, the sage is the most praiseworthy, unattached, steadfast. That man is supremely beloved by me, as am I by him. All these are noble-minded, but the sage is my very self, calm, untroubled. He dwells in the ultimate goal, in me. At the end of his many lives, the sage unites with me, thinking, Krishna is all that is. Great souls like this are rare. Men whose wisdom is darkened by desires, men who are hemmed in by the limits of their own natures, take refuge in other gods. But whatever the form of reverence, whatever God a sincere devotee chooses to worship, I grant him an unswerving faith. Empowered by his faith, that man earnestly seeks the God's favor and obtains the thing he desires because I myself have ordained it. But fleeting is the reward that men of small minds are given. They will go to the gods they worship, but my worshippers come to me. Though I am unmanifest, fools think I have a form, unaware of my higher existence, which is permanent and supreme. Veiled in my mystery and power, I am not perceived by most men. Those deluded minds, their deluded minds cannot see me, the unborn, the changeless, the undying. I know all beings who have passed and all who live now, Arjuna, in all who are yet to be, but I am beyond all knowing. All beings are born to ignorance, ruled by aversion and craving. This, Arjuna, is the primal duality that keeps them bound. But when a man is released from dualities, he can act purely, without attachment, and can serve me with all his heart. Those who take refuge in me, striving for release from old age and death, know absolute freedom in the self and the nature of action. Those who know me and the nature of being, of gods, and of worship are always with me in spirit, even at the hour of death. And we'll begin next week with chapter 8, Absolute Freedom. From your child's pose, I would like you to start shifting into a victorious breath. So draw in a nice deep inhale, hold it at the top, and exhale that that breath through your mouth with the same quality as if you were fogging a mirror with your breath. Bringing an ocean wave sound to your breath. Maintain that same constriction as you inhale. So you have that same audible, like Darth Vader quality to both your inhale and your exhale. And walk your hands off to the left. Your left hand may even come all the way off the mat. Walk your right hand over, place it on top of your left hand. And then settle your right sits bones closer down towards your right heel.
Feel for space and length along the whole right side of your body. And walk your hands back across the center of your mat. Slide your right hand off the right-hand side of your mat. Cover your right hand with your left. And once again, press your left sit bone any amount further down. And slide your hands back across the center of your mat. On your next inhale, lift up into a tabletop shape, floating your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. I'm just going to change my position. You guys stay right where you are, just to demonstrate. And we're going to start with rhomboid push-ups. So leave your arms straight. Make the back of your head buoyant, roughly in line with the back of your heart. And on an inhale breath, drop your heart down toward the earth. Feel the space between your shoulder blades close together. And then as you exhale, press into your hands, press into your shins. Puff the space between your shoulder blades up toward the stars. Maybe at the top of this, dip your chin in toward your chest. Inhale, release your chest down toward the earth. Make the back of your head buoyant again. Inhale, drop your heart down toward the earth. Exhale, round through your shoulders. We come into a neutral spine position. We're going to do some cat rolling. Inhale, drop your belly down toward the earth. Lift your gaze forward. Maybe tuck your toes. Exhale, press into your hands, press into your shins, round through your shoulder blades. Inhale, drop your belly, open your heart up toward the top edge of your mat. Feel a sense of dragging the heels of your hands back toward your knees. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Do this 4 more times at your own pace, to your own breath. After 6 full iterations, come back to a neutral spine position. Tuck your toes under your feet. Walk your knees together. Find camel in the legs. Bring your toes out wide, full mount width apart. Slide your left hand under your sternum. Bring your right hand to the base of your skull. Inhale, find length along your spinal column. Exhale, lift your right elbow up toward the stars, and then stay here or pulse, releasing your right elbow slightly down toward the earth, and then re-engaging it, lifting up back up into a nice big twist. We're just loosening it up, connective tissue in the thoracic spine. All right, come back to stillness. Release your right hand down to your mat. Bring your left hand to the base of your skull. Inhale, lengthen out. Exhale, lift your left elbow. And just like the other side, you can take this as a static stretch anywhere along this range of motion, or find a gentle cycling movement. All right, friends, come back to stillness. Release your left hand down to the earth. I'm going to change positions again, just for demonstration purposes. Then we're going to transition to downward facing dog. So on an inhale, tuck your toes under your feet. Exhale, push your hips up and back. And find knee movement that warms your lower body. Tonight for me, that's going to look like taking the webbing between my big toe and second toe on one foot and gently tractioning down the opposite heel. But you could paddle your feet in and out. You could sway the hips. Your movement might not look like anybody else's. Then eventually find stillness in your lower body. Feel free, if you're tight in your hamstrings, to put a generous bend in your knees. Flatten your palms out on the mat, especially your index, knuckle, and thumb, and relax your neck. On your next inhale, bend your knees, look forward, exhale, take all the steps you need to come up to the top edge of your mat into Ragdoll, Uttanasana, with your feet up to hip distance apart, your whole belly resting on your thighs, your neck relaxed like there was a great weight on the crown of your head. And then do whatever you like with your arms. Tonight, I'm going to grab opposite elbows and sway. As we warm up the body with sun salutations tonight, in the interest of really working the hips, we're going to do classical sun salutations with a low lunge. Release your hands down to the earth, heel toe your feet together. Shift the weight into your heels, and then inhale, find a halfway lift. Nice flat spine, hands on your thighs or shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, press into your feet, circle your arms all the way up over your head. Exhale, slice your hands down into heart center. Set a soft gaze at the tips of your fingers, set an intention for your practice for this evening. Sweep your arms up over your head. Lift your gaze, look at your hands, and then interlace your middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger. Exhale right here. And then on your next inhale, press into your feet. Lengthen out of your heart, the crown of your head, and the tips of your fingers for the stars. And then as you exhale, drop your hands off to the left. Press your hips over to the right. Maybe visualize a brilliant emerald green light emanating from your heart space. Now starting to spill out of your right rib cage as you expand the spaces between them. So feel for even more space and length in the right side of your body. Inhale, come back up into center. Exhale, drop your hands off to the right. Press your hips over to the left. And just a reminder, classical suns with a low lunge coming your way soon. Inhale, come back up to center. Lift your gaze, release your fingers. Exhale, hinge into a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step back into a high plank, a high push-up position. 4 breaths here. So root your index, knuckle, and thumb firmly down into the earth. Drag your belly button towards your spine. Press through the heels of your feet. And there's a real tendency here for us to drape the forehead down toward the earth. Every chaturanga, every high to low plank, I'd like you to keep the back of your head buoyant. Right now, tap your knees down to the earth. Lower all the way down to your belly. And then slide your hands forward, find Sphinx pose. Lengthen your legs long, press the tops of your feet down until your knees lift. Drag your elbows back towards your waist, soften through your belly. Inhale. Exhale, release your heart down to the earth. Bring your hands under your shoulders, downward facing dog. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, slice your hands into heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up over your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step your left leg back. Tap that left knee down. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Engage your left glute. Feel free to pat up under your left knee. There's nothing particularly virtuous about doing this pose with no padding under the knee. And then as that left glute engages, see if you can release your hips any amount closer down toward that right heel. Then notice if that right knee starts tracking forward to that right ankle, walk the right foot forward a little bit. So we're going to stay about 5 breaths, the first low lunge on either side, and then we'll start to speed things up. And we'll link these together with caterpillar pose during the classical salts. Inhale. Speaking of which, exhale, release your hands down to the earth. Step your right leg back to meet your left. High plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, caterpillar pose. Tap your knees down to the earth. Leave an arch in your back. Reach your chin and your chest down toward the earth. And then inhale, rock forward. Open your heart back to Sphinx or Easy Cobra. Leave your hands under your shoulders. Pull your hands back towards your waist. Squeeze your elbows in towards your waist. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale in down dog. Exhale, step your left leg forward. Tap the right knee down. Low lunge. Take the time you need. Take all the time you need to set this position up. There's no rush. Right glute engaged. Right leg pressing firmly into the earth. I didn't mention this on the other side. I've got the shoelace part of my right foot pressed into the earth. You could do that. You could also do this tucking the toes under your right foot. That's not wrong. In fact, we're going to transition that way when we get into the Vitality series today. Transition from here will be to a forward fold. 2 more breaths, but when we do that, you could bring your hands down to the earth, or you could leave them at heart center and just step your right leg forward. And now let's make that transition. Inhale right here. Exhale, step your right leg forward to meet your left in a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, slice your hands down into heart center. Inhale, reach your arms over your head. Exhale, forward fold. 1 breath per movement now. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step your right leg back. Low lunge. Rise on your inhale. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth. Step back into high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, caterpillar pose. Inhale, any heart opener. It's early yet for me for an upward facing dog. It might be just fine for you. Either way is okay. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, low lunge. Step your right leg forward. Tap the left knee down. And then on your next exhale, find a forward fold at the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise. Come all the way up to standing. Exhale, draw your hands into heart center. Inhale, reach your arms over your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, left leg back, low lunge. And then high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, caterpillar pose. Knees, chest, chin, all reach for the earth. And then rock forward. Open your heart on an inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, step your left leg forward. Low lunge. And then we'll meet at a forward fold at the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, halfway lift, or rather, reach your arms up over your head. Exhale, forward fold. Now inhale for a halfway lift. I mean it this time. Exhale, step your right leg back. Low lunge. And then a high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, last caterpillar of your practice. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. From your down dog, draw in a life-affirming breath. Hold it at the top for a beat. And then sigh it out with a ha sound. Inhale. Exhale, step your right leg forward. Low lunge. And then forward fold at the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sit back into chair pose. Long, straight spinal column. So length from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Draw your belly button towards your sternum. As long as the spine is long, if you want, it might be nice support for your back to have your hands in your thighs, where your hands could be a heart center, where your arms could reach up over your head. Shift more weight into your heels. So 80% of the weight in the heels now, 20% in the balls of your feet. And open your heart up any amount more that might look like lifting your gaze. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. On your next inhale, rock forward on your toes, put your shoulders over your wrists, and then with knees up or down, find a low plank, come halfway down, hands and arms, stay shoulder width apart, back of your head stays buoyant. Inhale, open your heart. Now I'm going to take upward facing dog. If you choose that, put your shoulders over your wrists, press the shoelace parts of your feet into the earth, let your pubic bone drape down toward the earth. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars. And then exhale, step it forward, rising into warrior one. Your right toes are at 12 o'clock. Left toes are at 8 to 10. Now your heels might be in one straight line. Mine are full mat width apart. Either way is okay. Lots of arm variations possible here. Hands could be on that front thigh. They could be a heart center, or your fingertips could reach for the stars. Your biceps might frame your ears. Press the pinky edge blade of your left foot even more firmly down into your mat. And find someplace you can soften. Where are you holding muscular engagement now that it's not serving you? Maybe the flesh around your eyes. Maybe it's your jaw. Maybe it's your shoulders. Or maybe you're gripping the mat with your toes. If that's the case, see if you can gently lift the toes up and then set them back down. Inhale. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth, high plank. And then you choose how you get to down dog. I'm going to do a vinyasa. You could also press directly back into down dog. So for the vinyasa, start from a high plank, go to a low plank, find a heart opener, and then meet us in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left heel up toward the stars. Exhale, rise into warrior one. So just like the other side, we start building these poses from the ground up. So ground into your feet like you were spreading your feet apart. Maybe square either your hips or your shoulders toward the top edge of your mouth. And if your breath has dropped off, keep coming back to your breath over and over. One more breath, inhale. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth, high plank. And then you chart your own course to downward facing dog. I gave you two options before, but your course could involve toweling off and taking a drink of water. It can involve resting in child's pose for a little bit, whatever would feel good to you. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, move to the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose, 4 breaths. Right, now we've been here for a while before. We did 5 breaths before. That's a pretty long hold. Draw your belly button towards your sternum more. Shift more weight into your heels. Maybe lower your seat another 2 inches. Good. And then press the bones of your arms toward the back edge of your mat, any amount more. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Good job, friends. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale, step into high plank. Inhale in high plank. Exhale, low plank. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars. Exhale, step forward, rise up into warrior 1. From your warrior 1, transition into Virabhadrasana, warrior 2. Shift the pinky edge blade of your left foot parallel to the back edge of your mat. Float your head over your shoulders, over your hips. Bring your arms parallel to the earth. Right, you could gaze at the horizon. You could also shift your gaze, for now, over the middle finger of your right hand. I'm going to give you a specific place for your gaze here in a moment. Press the pinky edge blade of your left foot more firmly down into your mat. Now shift your gaze out over the left hand edge of your mat. On an inhale, start to turn your palms up, then turn your thumbs back behind you. Lift your chin, open your heart. Exhale, turn your palms down and then up in the opposite direction. Release your chin to your chest, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into warrior 2 arms. And then as you exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the earth, step back into high plank, and then chart your own course into downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your left heel up toward the stars. Exhale, step it forward, rise up into warrior 1. Stabilize on your inhale. Exhale, open into warrior 2. Right, make the foundation of this pose solid first before you do anything else. So look down at your left knee. There's a really human tendency. The left knee wants to scoot on in toward the big toe. Press it back out toward the pinky edge blade of your foot. Then shift your gaze over the right hand edge of your mat. On an inhale, flip your palms up, lift your gaze, turn your thumbs back behind you, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, round through your shoulders. Inhale, come back into warrior 2 arms. And then as you exhale, cartwheel your hands down to the earth. And then you chart your own course into downward facing dog, whatever that looks like tonight. On an inhale, lift your right heel up toward the stars. And then exhale, step it forward, tap your left knee down, low lunge. So press the parts of your left foot that are in contact with the earth, press them firmly down in. Engage your left glute. Release your left hip any amount closer down toward your heel. And then you can choose any arm variation or bring your forearms parallel to the earth, fingers reaching forward. And drop the fingers down toward the earth. Press the heels of your hands forward. Engage your left glute. And then rotate the trunk of your body to your left. Ooh, engage that left glute more. Lower your hips more forward. Come back into center. Inhale. Exhale. Rotate the trunk of your body to your right. Inhale, come back into center. Exhale, rotate the trunk of your body to the right. And we'll hold right here, 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale, come back into center. Same arms for now. Inhale right here. Exhale, take a side bend to your right, like you were pinching a pencil with your right rib cage. And inhale, maintain that side bend. Exhale, rotate your whole torso to the left. Ooh. Engage that left glute. Press your left hip forward any amount more. Inhale, come back to center. Tuck your toes under your left foot. And then on an exhale, lift up into crescent warrior. Put your right knee over your right ankle. Left heel is lifted. Any arm variation, or plug your elbows into the bottom of your rib cage on either side. Forearms parallel to the earth. Palms face the sky. Spread between the thumb and pinky finger of each hand. Inhale, cross the palms of your hands in front of you. Exhale, leave the elbows plugged into your rib cage. Reach your thumbs back as if you could reach behind you. Inhale, cross in the center. Exhale, reach your thumbs back behind you. Inhale, cross in the center. Exhale, reach your thumbs back behind you. Continue to breathe. And continue reaching the thumbs back as if you could continually reach them further and further back. And commit to any arm variation. We're going to need 1 or 2 blocks where we're going. So you might want to stage those blocks. Inhale in your crescent warrior. Exhale, release your left hand down to the mat or to a block. Take a block in your right hand. Open your heart up to the right. A modified simple twist. Now with a block in that right hand, turn your right thumb back behind you like you were hitching a ride. Imagine a friend standing by your left hip. Hand that block to them 15 times for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Drop the block out of your right hand. I'm going to change positions just for demonstration purposes. Bring your right hand 2 to 3 inches in front of your right shoulder. Drop your left knee down. Slide your right hip back behind you and sickle that left heel back for stability. Modified side plank. Right. Place an imaginary wall behind your head and shoulders. Press the back of your heart into that wall. And if you need that right foot for balance, stay right there. Otherwise, press through the heel, cant the toes down toward the earth, and then inhale, lift with the heel, lead with the heel, lift your right leg. One with that right leg down. 1 full and complete breath right here. Lift your hips up 2 inches. Lead with the heel, lift the right leg. Inhale. Exhale, release your right foot, right knee, right hand down to the earth. Modified high plank. Exhale, modified low plank. Inhale, any heart opener of your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk or step to the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. From this halfway lift, step your right foot behind your left. So now you have pinky edge blade of one foot touching pinky edge blade of the other. Might be nice to have a block under your hands for balance. Relax your neck. Press your sits bones back toward the back edge of your mat. And breathe. Press your sits bones even further back behind you. Relax your neck even more. On an inhale, find a halfway lift. Step your right foot next to your left. Exhale, release your hands down to the earth, high plank. Either press directly into down dog or flow through a vinyasa to the cadence of your own breath. From your downward facing dog, on an inhale, lift your left heel skyward. Exhale, step it forward, tap your right knee down. Low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Good firm foundation. Maybe walk that left foot forward. If you know that your left knee is going to come forward at the ankle, walk it forward. Engage your right glute. You can stay right here. Or bring your forearms parallel to the earth. Palms face the sky for now. Now drop your fingertips down toward the earth. Press through the heels of your hands like you're trying to press into an invisible wall at the top edge of your mat. Engage that right glute even more. And then rotate the whole trunk of your body to the right. Ooh. Release your right hip forward toward your left heel. Inhale, come back into center. Exhale, rotate the trunk of your body to your left. Inhale, center. Exhale, rotate the trunk of your body to your left. Continue to breathe, 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale, back to center. Take a side bend to your left. Inhale, maintain that side bend. Exhale, rotate the whole torso to the right. Continue to engage that right glute. Release your right hip point any amount further forward. Inhale, come back up into center. Any arm variation, tuck your toes under your right foot. And on an inhale, lift up into a crescent warrior. Any arms, or plug your elbows into the bottom of the rib cage. Bring your forearms parallel to the earth. Palms face the sky. Spread between the thumb and pinky finger of both hands. Inhale, cross your hands in the center. Exhale, reach your thumbs back behind you. That's it, friends, just like that. Inhale, cross in the center. Exhale, reach your thumbs back behind you. Inhale, cross in the center. Exhale, reach your thumbs back behind you. Continue to breathe. And continue reaching your thumbs back for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Modified simple twist. Right hand down to the mat or to a block. Block in your left hand. Turn your thumb back behind you. Now hand the block to a front by your right hip for 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that block out of the left hand. Bring your right hand down to the mat, 2 or 3 inches in front of your right shoulder. Step the left hip back, sickle that right heel back behind you. Lift your hips. Maybe float the fingers of your left hand skyward. Lift your hips any amount more. Now start pressing through the heel of that left foot. Again, if you need it to balance, don't change anything. You're home. Otherwise, canted toes down toward the earth. On an inhale, lead with the heel. Lift your left leg. Right? For some bodies, this might be a really dramatic movement, that lift. But with the toes canted down, I think it'll be much less of a movement. That's okay. That's intention. We're trying to do something really specific there. Lower your left foot down to the earth. 1 breath. Inhale, lead with the heel. Exhale, lift your left leg. Continue to breathe. Now release your left foot, left knee, left hand down to the earth. Modified high plank. Modified low plank on an exhale. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. On an inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or float to the top edge of your mat. Inhale for a halfway lift. Step your left foot behind your right. And then forward fold. Again, a block under your hands might be really nice here. Relax your neck. As if there was a weight on the crown of your head, gently tracking it down toward the earth. And press your sits bones further back behind you. Inhale, halfway lift. Step your left foot next to your right. And then on an exhale, step back into high plank. From your high plank, tap your knees down to the earth. Side saddle your legs off to the side. Come onto your back and let us set up for some bridges. Starting with a pelvic tilt. So place the soles of your feet on the mat. Place a generous bend in your knees. And have your heels close enough to your seat. You can reach down and gently brush them with the tips of your fingers. All right, with these pelvic tilts, we'll start with 2 and then we'll add a bridge. But first, I want you just focusing on your pelvis. So on an inhale breath, drag your belly button towards your sternum. Feel your whole lower back press down into the earth. Right, this is the position from which we're going to bridge in a few moments. Exhale, release your pelvis. Inhale, draw your belly button to your sternum. Exhale, release your pelvis. Inhale, draw your belly button to your sternum. Exhale, press into your feet. Lift your thighs, lift your hips. Maybe walk your shoulder blades together under your back. Now load 70 to 80% of the weight in your feet in the heels. Really lighten the balls of the feet. And at the same time, press your kneecaps forward toward the top edge of your mat. Continue to breathe. Press your chest back towards your chin by 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch. And then one vertebrae at a time, come all the way down. For one full and complete round of breath on your whole spinal column. Inhale, draw your belly button towards your sternum. Exhale, press into your feet, lift your thighs, lift your hips, come into a second bridge. Maybe interlace your hands behind your back. Maybe press the heels of your hands together and maybe press your knuckles towards your heels. Weight in the heels again. Kneecaps press forward again. Continue to breathe. Inhale. Exhale, lower your hips all the way down. One full and complete round of breath. Release your arms up over your head. Interlace both thumbs. On an inhale, draw your belly button towards your sternum. Exhale, press into your feet. Lift your thighs, lift your hips. And at the top of this movement, invitation to straighten your left leg. Now, I don't want the sole of your right foot, or rather the right leg. I don't want the sole of your right foot parallel to the earth. I like your knees in line. Release your right foot down to the earth. One vertebrae at a time, come all the way down onto your back. Inhale, draw your belly button to your sternum. Exhale, press into your feet. Lift your thighs, lift your hips, and stay right here. Or straighten your left leg. Left knee and right knee are in one straight line. Release your left foot down to your mat. Lower down out of your bridge. Inhale your belly button to your sternum. Exhale, lift up into bridge. Option to straighten your right leg. And then set the right foot down. Come down onto your spinal column. Inhale your belly button to your sternum. Exhale, lift up into bridge. Maybe straighten that left leg. And then release the sole of your right foot down to the earth, lower all the way down. Good job. Roll over onto your right side. Now, from here, put a bend in your knees. Bring your right hand to the center of your left rib cage. This is just a measuring stick. That's all that right hand's job is. Bring your left hand to the base of your skull, with your left elbow pointing toward the stars. Engage the core first. On an inhale, draw your belly button towards your spine. Exhale, lift your left elbow up toward the stars, lifting your head, neck, and shoulders. And then we're going to pulse here, exhaling each lift for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay lifted. Inhale, draw your belly button towards your spine. Exhale, pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Lower all the way down. Now you can lengthen that right arm out over your head. Rest your right ear on your right bicep. Or you could rest your right elbow on the earth and drop the right hand side of your head here. We're going to do clamshells. So I'd like you to imagine your left heel is glued to your right. It cannot move, but everything else is free. On an inhale, engage your left glute. Exhale, lift your left knee any amount up toward the stars. If that glute is engaged, I think you will not have to lift it super far up to really feel something. Engage your left glute more. Maybe lift your left knee even more. And then lower your left knee down. One full and complete round of breath. Inhale, engage your left glute. Lift your left knee. Continue to breathe. We'll hold right here for 10, 9, 8. Engage the glute more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Release your left knee. Release your left glute. Lower your head down to the earth. Roll over onto your other side. Once again, put a bend in your knees. Bring your left hand to the center of your right rib cage. Bring your right hand to the base of your skull with your right elbow pointing up toward the stars. Inhale, draw your belly button towards your spine. Exhale, lift your right elbow up toward the stars and pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Stay lifted. Inhale, draw your belly button to your spine. Exhale, pulse for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way down. Whatever version that you want to do. I like that left elbow planted on the earth, and the left-hand side of my face, resting in the left hand. Rest your right heel on your left heel. That right heel will not move. Everything else is free. Inhale, engage your right glute. Exhale, lift your right knee. All right, lower your right knee down. Relax your right glute. One full and complete round of breath. Now on an inhale, engage your right glute again. Lift your right knee as high as you can. Continue to breathe. We'll hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Lower your right knee. Relax your right glute. Make your way onto your back. Hip opening. So come back to this bridge setup, a generous bend in your knees, the soles of your feet on the earth. Now hook the pinky edge blade of your right foot on the outside of your left thigh. Two options. First option, the heel of your right hand comes to your right inner thigh. And then you start to straighten that right arm, press that right knee forward and down. If that gives you what you need for hip opening, you're home. Don't change anything. Otherwise, look between your legs. We've created a triangle shape. Thread your right hand into that triangle, lift your left foot, interlace your hands on the back of that left thigh. Flex the toes on your right foot towards your right knee, flex the toes on your left foot back towards your face, and then it's push, pull, pushing your right knee forward toward the top edge of your mat, pulling your left knee in towards your chin. When we release this, when you set your right foot down, from whichever version of this, place your right foot on the far right-hand edge of your mat. Tee your arms out to the side. Drop both knees off to your right. Right? Knowing that if it's too much twist here, you could place some support in the way of blocks, bolsters, or folded blankets under one of both thighs. And if you want a more stretch, one option is to shift the gaze out over the fingers of your left hand. Right knees back up to center. Release your right foot down to the earth, and we'll change sides. Hook the pinky edge blade of your left foot on the outside of your right thigh, and either find this hip opening from your supine figure four with the assistance of your arm, or thread your left hand in between to your triangle shape. Push, pull. Feet are both alive here too, right? Both feet are flexed. So this tip here, it won't work for me on the other side, but I have a lot less flexibility, a lot less mobility on this side. So I can actually have my whole spinal column on the earth and still press my left elbow into my left inner thigh and traction that left knee a little bit further forward. So you can feel for that. If it's there for you, you could take advantage of it, and you don't need to. Drop the sole of your right foot out nice and wide, far right hand edge of your mat. Tee your arms out to the side. Drop the whole kit and caboodle off to the left. And then maybe shift your gaze out over the fingers of your right hand. Lift your knees back up to center. Release your foot down. Happy baby pose. Now, my baby is happier with a block under my lower back. So I'm going to place a block under my sacrum first. We'll bring the soles of your feet parallel to the earth. And there's lots of different options. Most people will say, or a lot of people will take their hands out to the pinky edge blades of your feet. But often they sacrifice alignment, and it's not a comfortable pose. You could have a beautiful, happy baby and have your hands on your ankles or your shins, or wrap your peace fingers around your big toes. To any one of those is right. I love this with a strap sometimes. So I'll show you that another time. If your baby is joyful, you could rock from side to side. You could straighten one leg at a time, or you could straighten both legs in either a half or a full straddle.
And you can start to soften the tempo and the intensity of that Ujjayi breath, that victorious breath, as we move closer toward both the sensation and the physical shape of our final resting shape. And on that cue, make your way there. So this can be any final resting shape. Your seat, your belly, your back, or your side. So tonight I'm going to choose, in the gravity yoga tradition, this is called block bridge. I've got a single block under my lower back. And then I just kind of star my body out. But I'd like you to look for balancing two qualities here, both relaxation and alertness at the same time. And it's in that way that we find sattva, balanced energy, in our final resting shape. Start to draw some deeper breaths. More full belly, more full chest on your inhale. And then more full and complete on your exhale. And maybe begin to reanimate your body with some small movements, maybe wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, maybe drawing your chin from shoulder to shoulder. And if your body wants more movement, start to go bigger. Rotate your hands at the wrists, your feet at the ankles. Or maybe take a full body stretch. Reaching your arms back behind you like you were trying to touch the wall behind you, pointing through your toes, reaching your toes forward like you were trying to touch the wall in front of you. And then draw your knees into your chest, roll over onto either side. Take a few breaths, notice how you're feeling. In particular, notice if you created and opened up some space in your hips and shoulders.
And then press yourself up into a seated position, any seated position. Anything with your eyes, open with a soft gaze or gently closed. Anything with your hands. Thank you, friends, for allowing me to guide you through your practice today. It's always an honor. I appreciate your energy, your breath, and your practice more than you know. Draw your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows. Blessings to you and your family. And that concludes our practice for this evening. Thanks again, friends. My name's Chris. I'm from Transformation Nation Yoga and Wellness. And this was your Stability Meets Mobility ball and socket joint class.